perfect. All right, as we're making this, we do have some breaking news coming in. We're going to come right back here to you guys in a bit, but let's go out some live pictures with President Trump, believes signing a bill. Is that right, producers, if we're going to go straight there?
Or not.
All right, or not. Hey, okay, here we go. Here's President Trump live. Hey.
Okay.
To Mitch McConnell, and separately to Paul Ryan, authorizing that having to do with missile defense. Okay. Very important. So that's being done today, and that's going to be sent out. And then when I watched the news, as you know, we had the largest tax cuts in our history just approved. And I was going to wait for a formal signing sometime in early January, but then I watched the news this morning, and they were all saying, will he keep his promise? Will he sign it by Christmas? You were one. But will he sign it by Christmas? And I called downstairs. I said, get it ready. We have to sign it now. We were going to wait till January 7th or 8th and do a big formal ceremony. But every one of the networks was saying, will he keep his promise? Will he sign it for Christmas, before Christmas? And so I immediately called. I said, let's get it ready. As you know, $3.2 trillion in tax cuts for American families, including the doubling of the standard deduction and the doubling of the child tax credit. The typical family of four earning $75,000, we see an income tax cut of more than $2,000. Many much higher than that, slashing their tax bill in half. And they're going to start to see that because we're signing today. They're going to start to see that in February. The numbers will speak. One of the big things that happened, you have some great companies. I want to thank AT&T, who actually was the first out of the box, and Boeing and Sinclair and Wells Fargo and Comcast, even though they own NBC, which is not so nice to the presidency or the president. But Comcast also, they all have made tremendous contributions to their employees and tremendous contributions to spending money in this country because of the tax bill. And they all said that it's because of the tax bill. So they're making tremendous investments. That means jobs. It means a lot of things. And we're very happy. So that's AT&T, Boeing, Sinclair, Wells Fargo, Comcast, and now many other companies, as you see. In fact, just this morning, I see 3 more companies came on. A friend of mine, Bob Kraft, called me last night. He said, this tax bill is incredible. He owns the New England Patriots, but he's in the paper business, too. And he said, based on this tax bill, he just wanted to let me know that he's going to buy a big plant in the great state of North Carolina, and he's going to build a tremendous paper mill there, or paper products plant. And I've had many calls such as that, where people that are entrepreneurs, people in business, they're going out and they're going to buy, frankly, factories that are closed, abandoned, and now they're not going to be abandoned any longer. This is having an even bigger impact, faster than I thought. The corporate tax rate, as you know, will be lowered from 35% to 21%. That means that more products will be made in the USA. A lot of things are going to be happening in the USA. We're going to bring back our companies that they've already started coming back. I think they had certain confidence in me. They figured we were going to get this done, but they have already started. Something very important to me, the family farmers and small business owners who lost their business because of the estate tax, most of them won't have any estate tax to pay. It will be a great thing for their families. You can leave your farm to your family. You can leave your business, your small business, to your family, not even so small, because the numbers are pretty big here. So they'll be exempt from having to pay estate tax, which will be tremendous. They'll keep their farms and their businesses in the family. Businesses will be able to deduct 100% of the cost of their capital investments in the year the investment is made. That's called expensing. And to do one-year expensing, I think, is going to be one of the biggest things in the bill, frankly. I think people are going to go out and absolutely go wild over expensing. Bob Kraft mentioned that last night in his telephone call. the fact that they can expense to one-year expensing is a fantastic asset. Historic small business tax cuts and pass-throughs now are made really, really good for the business owner. They're hiring people. I see it on television. I'm reading about it all over where people are hiring a lot of people right now to go to work. The small business tax cut and the pass-throughs are now really incentivizing people. We're going to bring back probably $4 trillion from overseas. Nobody knows the exact number, but it's massive. It'll be over $3 trillion. It could be $5 trillion, but it's a tremendous amount of money that was caught overseas that the bureaucracy plus the tax laws didn't allow it to reasonably be brought back into our country. So we think at least $4 trillion is going to be brought back. And if you look at that, it's going to be brought back right under the code. This is something that Republicans wanted for years and Democrats wanted for years, and yet it never got done. Who would object to trillions of dollars being brought back into our country? Nobody. But it never got done. Now it's being done. And the bottom line is this is the biggest tax cuts and reform in the history of our country. This is bigger than actually President Reagan's many years ago. I'm very honored by it. In addition, we have ANWR. We're opening up ANWR for drilling. They've tried to get that for 40 years. They've tried to get that even during the Reagan administration. They could never get it. That alone would be a big bill if that ever happened, but that's even part of this. And we have, of course, the individual mandate, which is a very unfair and very unpopular provision, as you know, in Obamacare. Essentially, I think it ultimately leads to the end of Obamacare. It's essentially, I think Obamacare is over because of that, and we're going to come up with something that's really going to be very good. But the individual mandate was very unfair because you're basically saying pay for something in order not to have to get health care. So you're paying not to have health care. It was very unfair. Many people thought it should have been overturned in the Supreme Court. Didn't quite make it, almost, but didn't quite make it. But now we're overturning the individual mandate, most unpopular thing in Obamacare. Very, very unfair. So this is the bill right here, and we're very proud of it. It's going to be a tremendous thing for the American people. It's going to be fantastic for the economy. It's going to keep companies from leaving our shores and opening up in other countries. They are very disincentivized to do that. There's not a lot of sense to do that. You do that, and I don't think you're going to be running your company very well. So what's happening is we're going to sign this. This is a little picture of it. It fits nicely in the box. I said take it out of the box because people have to see. And all of this, everything in here, is really tremendous things for businesses, for people, for the middle class, for workers. And I consider this very much a bill for the middle class and a bill for jobs. And jobs are produced through companies and corporations, and you see that happening. Corporations are literally going wild over this, I think even beyond my expectations, so far beyond my expectations. So I'll sign this today rather than having a very big formal ceremony in 2 weeks when we were going to do it, because I didn't want you folks to say that I wasn't keeping my promise. I am keeping my promise. I'm signing it before Christmas. I said that the bill would be on my desk before Christmas, and you are holding me literally to that. So we did a rush job today. It's not fancy, but it's the Oval Office. It's the great Oval Office. And just to conclude, our country is doing very well. We've tremendously cut regulations. Legislative approvals, for which I'm given no credit in the mainstream media. We have, I believe it's 88, which is #1 in the history of our country. Second now is Harry Truman. Harry Truman had more legislative approvals than any other president, and a record long held. And we beat him on legislative approvals, for which I get no credit. A lot of people say he needed this because he has had no legislative approvals. Well, if you look at VA Accountability Act and so many other bills having to do with the VA, having to do with the military, having to do with many things, we have more legislative victories than any other president, not including this, but this is the capper because this is, again, the biggest tax cut biggest reform of all time. So it's an honor to have you with us, and we will sign this right now. This is something I'm very proud of. Great for our country, great for the American people. Thank you all. So we won't do the whole thing, but this is basically what it is. That's your bill. And I want to thank some people in particular that aren't here because, again, we expected a formal ceremony in 2 weeks. But Mitch McConnell has been fantastic. Worked so hard. We would speak at 3 in the morning and 2 in the morning, and we would speak whenever we had to speak. But he worked so hard, and the exact same thing can be said for Paul Ryan. They are very proud of this, and we're already seeing the results. And as I said, long ahead of schedule. Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, thank you very much. Orrin Hatch, the chairman, made a beautiful speech the other day in front of the White House. An absolutely brilliant, beautiful speech, and we appreciated it, and I appreciated it. Hard-working. Kevin Brady, I don't think he slept for months. It's almost like that's all he did was this. Mike Enzi, Senator Enzi. Diane Black. Rob Portman, the group of Rob Portman. Rob worked so hard, so knowledgeable on the subject. Pat Toomey, likewise. Tim Scott, likewise. John Thune, likewise. These people work so hard, and I don't know if they're given the proper credit. And the whole Senate, when I say the Senate, unfortunately, the Republicans in the Senate. Democrats don't like tax cuts. They want to raise your taxes. They don't want to lower your taxes. They want to raise your taxes, and they want to spend money foolishly on things that we don't need in many cases. So we're cutting taxes, we're taking care of our military, and we're taking care of people. And we're really doing a job on jobs. So these folks have been so fantastic that I had to call them in. And plenty of others, believe me, Republicans in the House and Republicans in the Senate have been incredible. So this is what we got. We had it. It was all set to go. As soon as I got back from Christmas, where we'll be working in Florida, I'll be working very hard during that Christmas because we have many things we're talking about, including North Korea, including a lot of things happening in the Middle East, as you know. We've made tremendous strides, obviously, in Syria with ISIS. We've taken back virtually all of the caliphate, all of the land. Same thing in Iraq, and we're making tremendous strides. It's sort of the unwritten story right now, but since my speech on Afghanistan, we're making tremendous progress, tremendous strides. We've opened it up, and it's a whole different world in Afghanistan, I can tell you that. So I'll be working very hard over the holidays. Again, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. I have some beautiful pens over here, and because all of these folks are either continuing to work down the road or getting ready to leave, and I'm sure they'll be working very hard also. I think I'm probably going to hand some of them to the press. Does the media, would any of the media like any of, oh, look at these camera guys. But I think we'll do that. So we have them. Many of you have worked very hard. Many of you have worked very, very fairly, and we really appreciate that. So here you go, folks. You want the box with it or not, huh?
Mr. President, can you talk a little bit about how much you'll travel to sell this tax?
I don't think I'm going to have to travel too much to sell it. I think it's selling itself. It's becoming very popular. But I think you'll see something on February 1st when they open up the paycheck. That's when you're going to start to see it, because by signing it now, it kicks in for this year. Remember, if we didn't make a certain date, it wouldn't kick in until next year, meaning the following year, 19, and I wasn't happy with that. So we worked very, very hard to make sure it was this year. Even language originally said the corporate would kick in 19, but we didn't do that. We have it kicking in now, but we had to sign. So I don't think we're going to have to do much selling. I think the corporations that are giving billions and billions of dollars away to their workers, and many more are coming, I think that's really what's selling this, maybe better than anybody could, including myself. But I think come February, when they open their checks and they see, wow, what happened? I have a lot more money in here. I think that's really going to be something very special. So have a great holiday, folks. Some of you folks take, I in particular like the boom holders. They were so nice to me the other day, right? And the cameramen.
Mr. President,
and the cameramen.
Mr. President, as you mentioned, no Democrats have supported this tax cut legislation.
Thanks, everyone.
Will they regret it?
I think the Democrats will really regret, the Democrats already regret it. You know, they have their typical thing, it's for the rich. They know that's not true. And they've been called out on it by the media, actually. But the Democrats very much regret it. They wanted to be a part of it, just doesn't work out. But I really do believe, and I said on social media today, I really do believe we're going to have a lot of bipartisan work done. And maybe we start with infrastructure, because I really believe infrastructure can be bipartisan. We've spent $7 trillion in the Middle East, not to mention all of the lives and all of the heartache, and it's so sad. $7 trillion. It's time for us to rebuild our country. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Thank you very much,
I wonder
everybody.
if I could ask you,
Thank you.
you would have started with
Everyone, it is time to go. It is time to go, Jeff. It is time to go.
You would have started with infrastructure at the beginning of this year. Would that have sort of
Yeah,
done differently?
well, we're going to get infrastructure. Infrastructure is the easiest of all. We're very well on our way. We've essentially repealed Obamacare. You know, the individual mandate is a very big factor in this bill, frankly. A lot of people don't talk about it because the tax cut is so important. But infrastructure is by far the easiest. People want it, Republicans and Democrats. We're going to have tremendous Democrat support on infrastructure, as you know. I could have started with infrastructure. I actually wanted to save the easy one for the one down the road. So we'll be having that done pretty quickly. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. It's time to go.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Did you learn anything in this process that you think will help you in
Thank you,
2030?
Jeff. It's time to go.
Did you learn anything in this process that you think will help you?
Yeah, I think I have. You know, one thing I really learned is I learned and got to know and became very friendly with the people in the House, the people in the Senate, both Republicans and Democrats. When I came, you know, I didn't know too many. I was very politically active, but I didn't know too many. I think the fact that I've become friends with so many of the names that I just read off and so many of the senators, so many of the congressmen and women, I think that's a huge factor. I can call anybody now. I know every one of them very well. And I understand the legislation very well. So, you know, it's been a process. It's been a great process, really beautiful. But I do believe that the fact that I have gotten to know so many of these people, and many of these people, I have to say, not saying all, but I'm saying many of these people are great people that truly love this country. So I think that helps. And I think you'll see that in this legislation.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm running out of gas. Thank you all.
All right, that was President Trump actually speaking just a short time ago, signing that tax cut bill. And these here are images coming in of him on Marine One, making his way to Air Force One. And of course, after that, he will be headed right to our area to spend the holidays with his family at Mar-a-Lago. And we will keep you a live look at that as soon as he lands today. We're going to turn things over to Storm Team 5 meteorologist Steve Villanueva in just a moment. But again, a reminder that President Trump coming to Mar-a-Lago, expect those road closures. Of course, you might have become accustomed to that at this point. When the president comes to town, he'll be landing at Palm Beach International Airport. Then he's going to be making his way to Mar-a-Lago. You just heard him say as well, he just signed that tax bill that there's been so much talk about signing it into law. He said he was going to do it after January, but then there was talk of people saying that maybe he wasn't going to be keeping his promise of getting it done. So he said today in the Oval Office, he is going to sign it. And now we're waiting for him to get off of Marine One and make his way to Air Force One, where, again, he's going to be making his way to Palm Beach International Airport. Unclear exactly how long he's going to be staying in our area, but it is expected through Christmas, of course, and then into the new year. So those road closures, we have them posted on our website, WPTV.com, and you can also find them on the free WPTV app. Expect a lot of traffic around Palm Beach. around Mar-a-Lago, the Winter White House. It's interesting, you kind of become accustomed to this at this point because he does spend so many weekends here in our area. Again, that was a live look at Mar-a-Lago, but waiting for President Trump to get off of Marine One right now, where then he's going to be making his way to our area. Expected to land around 1:30. That's kind of a tentative time. They haven't given an exact time of when he's going to land, but in that area, if you're going to be out and about doing some Christmas shopping today, finishing things up, expect that to kind of when these road closures are really going to start to be impacting people. Some of them already in effect right now. President Trump typically taking Okeechobee Boulevard over the bridge and then into Mar-a-Lago. You see the Marines getting off of Marine One right now and the Secret Service as the president's going to be making his way. Not a quick trip for the president. Usually takes about an hour, hour and a half to get from D.C. down here to our area where Air Force One will be landing. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this. Again, waiting for the president to make his way to Air Force One. It's been a big day, very busy day for the president, just signing that tax reform bill into law. There's been so much talk of that this week. Obviously, a potential government shutdown. There was talk of that as well. That's not going to be happening. So the president getting a lot of work done in the final days leading up to the holiday as the Senate and the House, they've gone on break, and now the president going to be taking some time to go to Mar-a-Lago. Taking some time with the family. Melania Trump, the First Lady, she's already here in West Palm Beach, Palm Beach, as well as Barron Trump, their son. They're already here in this area, and President Trump expected to join them. So we're going to keep keeping an eye on this. Let's turn things over right now to Storm Team 5 meteorologist. Oh, there's President Trump getting off of Marine One right there. So expect him to be making his way to Palm Beach a short time from now after signing that tax reform bill. Steve, let's send it over to you. All right, we're going to wait till President Trump gets here onto Air Force One. A reminder, when he lands at Palm Beach International Airport, we're going to be bringing this to you live on the free WPTV app and WPTV.com. Facebook Live will also have it as well. Expect that to be around 1:30 today when President Trump's going to be landing, then making his way with his limousine and crew all the way over to Mar-a-Lago. That has become the Winter White House, which you think back to what its original purpose was the hope for it to be a Winter White House. Then when President Trump was elected, that's when it actually became one. So he's going to be spending a lot of time there. Not clear exactly what he's going to be doing during the time. He has said it is going to be a working vacation as he takes some time off. But obviously the job of the president, it's a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week job. And so the president says that he is going to be pretty busy during his time here in our area. Take a look there on the right side of your screen. That's a live look at Mar-a-Lago. And some of the road closures already in effect this morning. But again, he'll be landing around 1:30 as he is spending some time talking to his supporters. You see there at the Air Force Base just over the border from D.C. in Virginia, taking some pictures before he heads to our area. And if you're just joining us, President Trump, he just signed the tax bill into law. There was obviously a lot of talk this week about that bill. It was approved by the House, then approved by the Senate, then it had to go back into the House, and they finally were able to get it through. And President Trump, he has said that he feels already people have been seeing some of the positive things that have come from this tax reform bill, a bill that he says not only just the biggest tax reform change in decades, he says it's the biggest one ever. And he says that you've seen some companies, some big name companies like AT&T already giving some of their employees bonuses for the end of the year, $1,000 bonuses. And he says more of that is expected to come. Obviously, this has been a very talked about bill, but let's send things over right now to Palm Beach International Airport. Our Tori Dunnan, she's been hanging out there all morning. And Tori, we're seeing the president getting ready to get on Air Force One. What can people expect when he gets here?
Right, we've been through this before on numerous occasions, as you mentioned, but what I can tell you right now is that the temporary flight restrictions here at Palm Beach International Airport are now in place. They went in place at 11 o'clock on the dot. Also, according to the town of Palm Beach and Palm Beach Police, those road closures as well as checkpoints are now all set up around Mar-a-Lago. What we can expect as the president lands here, obviously there's going to be increased law enforcement presence. We've started seeing that recently in the past 30 minutes or so, the sheriff's office here outside Palm Beach International Airport. And then they'll do those rolling road closures as the president makes his way to Mar-a-Lago. Now, one thing that we've talked about is it's unclear how long the president is going to be here in the area. The White House has not yet announced his official holiday schedule, although it is believed that he's going to be here for Christmas and then into the new year as well. His wife, First Lady Melania Trump, as well as son Barron, are already here in town. They've been in Palm Beach for a little bit. He'll be joining them for the holidays as well. Now, to get you through some of those road closures, as just a reminder in case you need a little refresher here, drivers are encouraged to take different roads. There's going to be road closures for pedestrians and also drivers. They'll be prohibited on South Ocean Boulevard from the intersection of South County Road to Southern Boulevard and then eastward to the ocean. Residents who live in that area are allowed back in their homes, but they'll have to show ID for that. Now, in addition to some of the air restrictions that we've talked about, there'll be water restrictions in place as well as the president is in the area. But again, Chris, it is unclear how long he'll be here, although law enforcement wants to remind everyone that they should expect significant delays as he lands here at Palm Beach International Airport and then makes his way to Mar-a-Lago, but also throughout the duration of his stay as he travels to different areas throughout our viewing area. You should expect to see some heavy delays. So that's the latest here from Palm Beach International Airport. We are waiting for him to board Air Force One in the Washington, D.C. area and then fly here to Palm Beach International Airport. Flight should take about an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, and he is expected to be landing here closer to 1:30 or so. Preparations underway right now, Chris.
All right, Tori, we know that you are keeping us abreast of those road closures, rolling road closures. Really, what the majority of our viewers have to worry about as the president makes his way first to West Palm Beach on his way to Palm Beach. Southern, one of those very, very busy travel areas. And so we know there will be some jams as his motorcade progresses down that road. Of course, you're taking a live look right here. We just saw the president get off of Marine One. He's now boarded Air Force One. The First Lady and first son Barron Trump are already in Palm Beach County at Mar-a-Lago. It is now the president who will be joining him, by all accounts, from what we know, through at least January 1st, possibly January 2nd. We know that's when those road restrictions are in place, too. There could be changes here and there, but that is the information that we're getting so far.
Yeah, and let's turn things over right now to Storm Team 5 meteorologist Steve Villanueva. Steve, certainly a lot warmer weather here in our area than it is in the D.C. area today.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that the fog has lifted, Air Force One will have no problem getting into Palm Beach International. Here's a look from our webcam, our live cam. And you can see the Winter White House right there. The sun is shining. Another beautiful day here in South Florida. But as we head into the overnight hours tonight, we'll have to watch for, once again, areas of dense fog. Right now, warming up quickly, 78 degrees, humidity 74%, and the winds are light at 6 miles per hour. Visibility's much improved this morning. We had visibilities below a mile, down to 0, but now visibility is back up to 10 miles now that the fog has lifted. And temperature-wise, temperatures for the most part are in the upper 70s right now. 78 in West Palm, we're at 78 in Fort Pierce, 79 in the meantime back over towards Okeechobee. A little bit cooler though at Belle Glade, 72, where we're still holding on to a little bit of cloud cover. You can see that right there. Otherwise, we're seeing plenty of sunshine along the Treasure Coast and plenty in the way of sunshine also along coastal Palm Beach County. Now, there is a disturbance that we're watching back here near Texas, and eventually this system will sweep across South Florida and cool us down a little bit. And I mean, just a few degrees as we head into Monday, Christmas Day, but it's only going to be a one-day cool down. Sunday night, Christmas Eve, looking great, 64 degrees, maybe a spotty shower here or there, definitely not a big deal. Monday afternoon, we'll start off with a chance of a shower or two. Then we go partly sunny during the afternoon on your Christmas, but more comfortable with a temperature of 77 degrees. So there's the front that we're watching. Ahead of it today, plenty of sunshine, another beautiful day. Your weekend is looking great. Saturday, lots of sunshine. It is warm with temperatures in the low 80s, a bit humid, and it's that humidity that's helping to for that fog to form, and we'll continue to see that as we head into the weekend. Now here's Sunday, Christmas Eve. You can see the front moving into northern Florida. A little bit of rain right there, but ahead of it for us, another great day with partly to mostly sunny skies. Then the front comes through early during the morning on Monday. That's when we can see a shower or two, and then behind it we cool it down as we head into Monday afternoon. That is Christmas Day. Today, 82 degrees, mostly sunny, a pleasant day, another beautiful day here in South Florida. 67 overnight tonight, areas of fog, temperatures quite mild. Temperatures should be in the upper 50s this time of year, but we're going to see temperatures in the 60s. For you boaters, looking great as well. Seas 2 feet or less. Inland waters have a light chop. There are your high and your low tide times. And there's the extended forecast. Not much change as we head into the weekend, but a cool front does sweep through early Monday morning, Christmas Day. We're at 77, a few spotty showers possible.